So I am going to open today the way that we open many and most of our times together, and that is in prayer. So I invite you to simply, relax. And if you were here for the meditation, maybe you're already relaxed. And so just breathe into your whole body, allowing it to just move through you as you wiggle into your chair, all comfortable and balanced. And so we know, as Rumi writes, that we are in an ocean of love that is God. I am in that ocean and knowing that I am of the love, I am of God, and I am part of everything that's going on. And I allow myself to be the unique expression that I am with all the great and glorious creation that we have. And yet here today, I am on purpose. I am here with the delightful idea that I grow in my understanding of God so that I express that so much more fully and completely. I'm open, I'm receptive, I may have questions, and I smile into the experience knowing that it's absolutely perfect and good. So I allow myself to just be. And everything that has happened before, it'll still be there. And anything that needs yet to happen, it'll wait. Because now we're all here. And I know that we are all here on purpose and with a purpose. And so in deep gratitude for this opportunity, for this place, for this building, and for this teaching, I simply release my word, knowing that in the mind of God, it is already done. And I simply agree and say, and so it is. And so we have a whole lot of stuff going on, and so I'm going to share that with you as succinctly as possible. We are having the labyrinth today, and so I really want to highlight that. It's after service, and Miss Jane is sitting right there in the audience, and she is coordinating our labyrinth, and it really is a great experience, most especially if you haven't done it before. So consider a walking mind-body experience next door and have our labyrinth. Now, this coming Sunday, our women's circle is meeting at 12:30 in the teen room. Those of you who are part of that, keep that in mind. And coming up on May the 18th, which is skipping a week, Reverend Gregory is going to be doing a workshop on Sunday afternoon, a Fear to Faith workshop. It's a very experiential thing. It's a very growth opportunity thing. So consider that for your Sunday afternoon on May the 18th. Now on Thursday, May the 10th, the study group in Spanish is happening. It's a Thursday and it's around 12. It doesn't say on here, but it is around 12:30 that she meets this class. And it is in Spanish. So if you're not a Spanish speaker, but you may know someone, give them a hint, because they're reading this thing called You, which is a glorious Ernest Holmes book. And it's a great thing to study to start if they've never done Science of Mind. Also on May the 10th in the evening, we have our ecstatic dance. And so that is at 6 p.m. And so it's a lively happening next door in Richelieu Hall. Now, if you're ready to go to the next level with classes beyond Science of Mind classes, join Gregory, Toole, and practitioner Monica Ruth for an information session on what is required to enter advanced consciousness studies, as well as requirements for entering practitioner training. Now, that's going to be on May the 22nd. That's a Thursday at 6 p.m. Now, on June the 5th, Reverend Gregory is starting a new class called the Essential Ernest Holmes. It's a certificated Science of Mind class, and it starts on Thursday. That's June the 5th, is a Thursday. And it's an 8-week class, and it does count toward practitioner training. And I have to say, if I'm picking a favorite class that we offer, it's the Essential Ernest Holmes. I love that course. It is such a great opportunity, even if you're not planning on advanced studies. You will enjoy that series of courses, just so you know, and that's my personal opinion. We are also looking for many able-bodied and fun-loving people to help us as we put together our activities that we're doing. We do many activities here that require tables and chairs and setup and moving things around on the platform, off the platform. And it could be wonderful to have a team of people that can be called for some of these activities. If you want to do that, all you have to do is sign up, leave your contact information, and you'll be called in advance to ask to be helpful for a number of these things. We also welcome all of those who are in our community who have questions about the science of mind, religious science, this center. We are having a discovery class just for that purpose. It's on May the 20th. Sorry? Especially for those who are new. Yes, did I not say that yet? I wasn't. So, and we offer a discovery class for everyone, but if you're new to the center, then that's a special invitation so that you can learn maybe things like, wait, what are they talking about kind of things. So that's on May the 25th, and so you are invited to do all of those things. We also have a concert on Friday, May the 16th. That's something that I am going to miss because I'll be out of town. It's the concert of the Soundscape Orchestra. They have such a lush, kind of brassy sound. It is such a wonderful, entertaining. Many dancers, the dance floor is often full that night. If you like to dance, if you know people who do, this is terrific. So join and support this group. They've been with us a long time, and they do beautiful music. They have a great following. We also have another concert coming on a Sunday afternoon. It is on June the 22nd, and it's Jamie Lula in concert. Jamie Lula is a very, very popular singer all around him. He goes all over the place with his guitar doing all kinds of his wonderful special brand of music. So that is, there are flyers out there, and you can see even more. Now, the Sunshine Kids Club is launching a newsletter, which is really all about the activities that are happening here for our children. And if you were here Sunday, you see our children are growing and growing, and we anticipate growing more. And we just want to get the word out so that children can learn science of mind at a young age, or just be in an atmosphere of science of mind. So whether you have a child or not, maybe you know someone who does, and we have that newsletter, and so sign up for it just so you have the latest information to help other people as well as yourself. The activity table is loaded with good things to do. So that is a wonderful thing, many details about everything that I've just said. And for all of those volunteers who are yet to sign up for that moving things around list, as well as the magnificent volunteers that keep this place humming, a big thank you is what is called for every time we come in and have an event. So thank you to everyone that comes and goes. Now, we have a really special treat because we are going to have this Elise Carver sing us a song. Isn't that wonderful? It's Wednesday and we have music.
It's my great pleasure to be here with you all this morning. Trust love. Trust love. Trust God. Love is everywhere, that we are here to be the perfect givers of love and receivers of love, and love will have the final word. Trust love. Trust love, trust God. The love is everywhere, that we are here to be the perfect givers of love and receivers of love, and love will have the final word. No one ever loses when one trusts love, for love is something that will not ever fail. Love is the essence of the Spirit that is known by always giving. Love always sees the truth beyond the appearance, that is showing. Love judges not, and love renews. Yes, love renews. Love is a healer. Oh yes, it is. Love loves to love. Love loves to love, and will keep on being love, and will keep on being love. This is its only way. So trust love, trust love, trust God. The love is everywhere, and we are here to be the perfect givers of love and receivers of love, and love will have the final word. No one ever loses when one trusts in love, for love is to live within the holy breath of God. Love is the essence of the Spirit that is known by always giving. Love always gives the truth beyond the appearance, that is showing. Love judges not, and love renews. Yes, love renews. Love is a healer. Oh yes, it is. Love loves to love. Love loves to love, and will keep on being love, and will keep on being love. This is its only way. So trust love and lean on love. Trust God. The love is everywhere, and we are here to be the perfect givers of love and receivers of love, and love will have the final word. We are here to be the perfect givers of love and receivers of love, and love will have, yes, love will have the final word. Love will have the final word.
Thank you all so much. It is my great pleasure to introduce today's speaker, Reverend Gregory Toole.
Elise, thank you so much, Elise. I want to tell you how you already know how talented this lady is, but you probably think that she's been singing that song for years. I just gave her that song yesterday to sing. Isn't that amazing? Yes, yes, that's a Ricky Byers song. Love that song. You did it so beautifully. How's everyone doing today? Yeah. Do you love to love? Yes. Do you know that your nature is love? Yes. Do you know you are, excuse me, that you are love? Yes. So send some love to someone right now. Turn to someone and send them some love. Say, I'm sending you some love right now. Yes. This is what we do. This is what we do. This is what we do. Our essence is love. Our essence is love. It's who we are. It's who we are. Thank you. Back to you as well. It's who we are. It's who we are. And it's also who those that you find difficulty loving, it's also who they are. It's who they are. They are love. So if they are being something other than what you perceive to be love, they're simply not being themselves. And yours and mine is to remember who they are, even though they are forgetting who they are. Never buy into the idea that someone is anything other than divine and that anyone is other than love. Because then we're buying into an appearance as opposed to a truth. And we want to be in truth, yes? That's what we do here, right? Yes, are we sure? It's like, okay, I might have stepped into an alternate universe where I'm no longer in a Science of Mind community here. So good to be with you all today. And we're talking today about trust, that God is trustworthy. God is trustworthy, and let's see, where did I want to go with that? There's something I wanted to start with, and it went right out of my mind. Someone tell me what it was I wanted to start with. There's only one mind, so we're all using the same mind, so you should know exactly what I wanted to start with. We are love. We can start with that, yes. No, I want to start with, I play Words with Friends. Anyone else play Words with Friends? It's online Scrabble. Oh yeah, I got a game going with Ryan over here. It's online Scrabble. And I had a word choice that I had to put a word, and it had to start with an I. There was an I all lined up, and it was going to be a triple word. A triple word score. I was like, oh, this is going to be good, right? And so I'm mixing my letters, I'm doing it, I'm not finding it. Finally, I go, oh, I know this is a word, right? Because there's a word called outlook, right? There's a word called outlook, right? What is the outlook? Like, what is the outlook for our economy? What is the outlook for my financial picture? What is the outlook for my career? What is the outlook for my relationship, right? Our outlook, we're looking out there and saying, what does it look like going forward? So I figured if there's a word called outlook, there's got to be a word called inlook. It made perfect sense to me. I'm like, oh yeah, definitely, no doubt about it, right? I'm typing it in, inlook. No. Then I went and looked it up online afterward. I'm like, there must be some dictionary that has that. And there were some loose references to it, but no like real dictionary. There was like Wiktionary. But I think we ought to create that word. Because words, we create the words, right? As soon as a word gets used enough, it gets into the dictionary. That's how words get into the dictionary. That people start using something over and over and over, and they go, okay, it's a word. So I think we ought to start using the word inlook, because in some ways, inlook is more important than outlook. Because inlook says, what does it look like on the inside? Outlook says, what does it look like out there? Inlook says, what does it look like in here? And what it looks like in here, so within, so without. We know that it's all, life is an inside job. It's really about what starts right here, and then that outpictures out there. But what's outpicturing out there isn't where it started, right? What's outpicturing out there is a result of what started in here. what I started to think, what I started to believe, what I started to embody, what I started to align with in terms of my vibration. The in look. This within, what's happening within me is then it's going to start happening out there. And it's so easy, the appearances can be so mesmerizing, right? We look at what's going on out there, something going on in a relationship with a coworker or a family member, or something going on with our job, or something going on with our finances, and we see this appearance and it can be so mesmerizing, right? And it seems like sometimes we want to give all the power to what's happening out there because it's right there in front of us. It feels really tangible. And this other thing that's on the end look, the way it looks, it's just like, that's just some thought and belief and idea and feeling. Doesn't seem sometimes as real. But knowing that everything starts from within, that we really create our lives from the inside out and not the other way around, wouldn't it be that what's on the inside is even actually more real? If that's what's going to create the reality, if that's what's going to manifest on the outer, isn't that even more real? Isn't what appears on the outer simply an effect? It is simply an effect, a manifestation of what was already on the inner. So which, I ask you, which is more real? That which created it all? That which started it all, that which is what is behind and the real, essence of it all, or what's being projected onto the screen, right? Does everyone know that when Grant projects something on the screen there, that if he wanted to, he could take that off and project something else? Yeah, it's just what gets projected on the screen. As soon as he would put something else up there, there would be something else up on the screen. The soon as we shift what is going on in here, something else begins to outpicture in our life. The moment we begin to shift on the inside, the moment we begin to change how we're looking at life, especially we start with how we look at ourselves. How do we look at ourselves? I want to share a few quotes today with you from Dr. Ernest Holmes, our founder, from our Science of Mind textbook. The first one I want to share is about our spiritual mind treatment, which is basically what we call affirmative prayer. We call it a spiritual mind treatment because you are treating your own mind, right? I love that, right? It's so real because sometimes we think with prayer, we're treating something out there. I'm going to pray about that thing out there. But when we do spiritual mind treatment, we realize all we're really doing is having a shift within ourselves, right? When we teach spiritual mind treatment in the classes, we used to grade the treatments, right? We used to be like, this is a good treatment. Oh, no, you didn't do this right. You didn't do that. Oh, you did this really well. And then a minister, when I was in ministerial school, said, stop grading the treatments. I'm like, what? Because I grew up in a church where we were grading them, right? It's probably a holdover from our grade school days, right? You take a class, you get a grade. But what is happening when we do a spiritual mind treatment is we are having a shift in our consciousness. You can't grade that because I can't get into your consciousness and see whether you had a shift or not. So I can give you some helpful hints in doing a spiritual mind treatment that might allow it to be more powerful for you, but I can't grade your treatment because I don't know whether you've had a shift in your consciousness or not. Maybe when you say Rumpelstiltskin 1, 2, 3, maybe you're like, da-da, boom. Maybe that like puts you in your, you know what I mean? Maybe that somehow that word association puts you in your power. They say that that this one woman who gave some of the most powerful treatments, her whole treatment was, "Tain't so." It ain't so, but shortened to, "Tain't so." You go to her and you go, "I got this physical condition, this health condition." She'd say, "Tain't so." You go, "Oh, I got this relationship challenge." She'd say, "Tain't so." That's all she needed because her consciousness was so powerful that she knew that if she would acknowledge a greater truth about you, that the rest of all that story had no basis. She knew that that she was running the projector and that what was on the screen, she could swap that out and put a whole different thing and project something else onto the screen. It really does work that way. The same way we could swap out that slide and put another slide in and you would see something totally different appearing, we can swap out our beliefs, our vibration, how we're looking at life, how we're moving with life, and everything starts to change at that moment. Who in here knows that when you change, everything around you changes? When you change, everything around you changes. Well, then why are we trying to change everything out there? If I could just get these people to change, and if I could just get this situation to change, and if I could just... No, we change. All right, I am going to read that quote that I never got to. All right, so Ernest Holmes said, a treatment is a statement in the law. In other words, there's a creative medium. There's something that receives that treatment and begins to bring it into manifestation. That's like the projector. Whatever we put on the screen, the projector puts it up there. There's a law that whatever we put out there is what comes back to us. So a treatment is a statement in the law embodying the concrete idea of our desires and accompanied by an unqualified faith that the law works for us as we work with it. The law works for us as we work with it. So this is an orderly universe. It can seem like it's all random and all that, but this is an orderly universe. Sometimes we say there are no coincidences, there are no accidents. I've told this one story before, and I'll tell it again, though, because I just have so much fun telling it. Because, one day I was going to play basketball. Years and years ago, I was going to play basketball, and I was going to the gym, and I said to myself, I don't even know why I bother, because I'm not even any good at basketball. So why am I even bothering to show up at the court? I'm no good anyway. Got to the court, walked in there, and this guy said, what are you doing here? You can't even play. And I was about to get all indignant, like, how dare you say that to me? Are you kidding? And before I could get that out of my mouth, it went right back and said, how dare I say that to me? Why am I getting upset that what I just said to myself is now out picturing in my experience? But this is the way it works. We start focusing all this that's going on out there, not realizing we either unconsciously or consciously, or sometimes superconsciously, which means our soul brought it into being, but it's all coming from in here. Our life is unfolding from the inside out. It's an inside job. It's not happening from out there. So we can stop tarrying out there so much, except for the tarrying out there that comes from here. Right? Because we have a phrase that says, treat and move your feet. But I changed that phrase because I can do that. just like you can do that. That phrase that said, treat and move your feet, which meant that you treat and then you move into action. But to me, that means like you're kind of going to go back out there and start tarrying again. You're going to go back out there and start tinkering with all the things out there again. And it takes away from the idea that it all starts from within here. So I changed the phrase to say, treat and allow your feet to be moved. You see the difference? Treat and allow your feet to be moved means that you're not necessarily going to do your prayer, your spiritual mind treatment, and put something new out there and then go right back to trying to fix it out there. What you're going to do is you're going to do your treatment and you're going to trust in faith and knowing that it is now done and it is now happening. And then you're going to listen in to see if there's some part that you have to play in it. Do you see the difference in that? One has you getting right back into the tarrying and trying to make it happen. The other has you being an active and willing participant in what happens, but not trying to control what happens. In the science of mind, we say that this law that we're talking about, this creative medium, that which receives our word, receives our thought, we say it responds by corresponding. It responds by corresponding. What does it correspond to? Anyone out there? It corresponds to what we're thinking. It corresponds to the inner embodiment. Our thinking, our vibration, how we're being, how we're looking at life, how we're showing up. Like all of us, what are we bringing to life? Right? Sometimes you will say, how's life treating you? And this one minister said, no, I want to ask, how are you treating life? Like, how are you showing up to life? What are you bringing to this table here that is then coming right back to us? I want to share the second quote from Ernest Holmes. It said, the law is a law of liberty, but not a law of license. It's a law of liberty, meaning freedom, but it doesn't mean we can do whatever we want because there's an order to it, right? There's an order to it. So he goes on to say, it is exact and exacting. I love that phrase. It is exact and exacting. And unless we are willing to comply with its nature and work with it along the lines of its inherent being, we shall receive no great benefit. It is exact and exacting, and we have to act along the lines of its inherent being. For example, if someone comes to me and treats that their neighbor loses their home, like I would like them to be gone, can you treat that they'll lose their home? That would not have me being in the inherent nature of this law. The inherent nature of this law is always going to be highest and best for all concerned. So if I want to align with the inherent nature of this law and work with it on its terms, I have to work with it that way. Sometimes people will come and ask for a treatment like that. Can you treat that I win this match I'm about to play today? You know, I'm going to play a tennis match or a golf match. Can you treat that I'm going to win? No, I cannot. Because that is not in the inherent nature of the law, that we put someone against someone else. Now, if you want me to treat that you're going to play your best tennis today, I can treat for that, or your best golf today, or you're going to, I can't treat that you're going to get this job as opposed to someone else getting this job, but I can treat that you're going to show up in your boldest, most beautiful, most magnificent self, because that's for you, but it's not against anyone else. Right? So we have to be in the nature of the thing. And then let's come to that, let's come to that part about exact and exacting. Exact and exacting. This is a law. It is going to take what we put. My first job out of college, I was a software developer. That was my first job, right? And software development is very much like what that quote is about. It's exact and exacting, right? When I would program, and there's a language, you program in a computer language, right? And in that language I was using, there were periods and commas and different words that meant different things. If a period or a comma were out of place in that language I was using, the program would do something totally different than what I was intending it to do. It's exact and exacting. It can't be like, well, it should know what I wanted it to do. No, it is exact and exacting. We used to say garbage in, garbage out. Whatever I put in is what's going to come out on the other end. With this law, it's exact and exacting. So if we're saying, for example, I want to have the most beautiful relationship, but we're going around saying, I hate myself, saying I'm unworthy, I'm no good, the law is exact and exacting. So we're going to be like, why? I said I want a loving relationship. Why are all these people showing up that are treating me badly and that don't see my value? And so the first question we ask someone like that is, how do you see your value? And say, people don't treat me well. Okay. How do you treat you? How do you treat you? Oh. What we'll find in those cases is we don't treat ourselves very well. But we're expecting others to treat us well, right? I'm saying to myself before going to play basketball, I'm a terrible player, why do I even bother? But then expecting when I get there that people are going to go, we're so glad you're here, you're amazing. It doesn't work that way. The law is exact and exacting. I put out there that I'm no good and I shouldn't even be there. So what did I get back? I'm no good and I shouldn't be here. I got exactly back what I put out. And this is where this law is exact and exacting. That's the good news, really, because once we start to comply with the law, once we start to work with the law, once we start to realize that we have this power, right? I say if you created a big mess in your life, good for you. You're really powerful. Not everyone can create a mess like that. Woo! You're something else. Man. And so all we have to do is go, look, okay, I used this power to create this big mess. Now I'm going to change it and use the same power to create something really wonderful and beautiful and amazing that I really can enjoy. That's how powerful we are. There's a law that's receiving our word. See, so we begin to realize that we have dominion in our lives. You know, we're talking about kingdoms of consciousness this month, right? And we were talking just on Sunday about kingdom one is that victim consciousness. Things are happening to me, and I'm a victim. Things are just happening to me. No one will give me what I want. Everyone's doing this and doing that. Poor little me. Anyone ever be there? No one here, right? But when we realize we have dominion, we realize it's an inside job, when we realize it all starts on the inner, where's the work? Where's the work? Inside. So when the thing happens out there that we don't like, what are you going to do? You're going to say, what do I need to shift in here? You're not going to go like, oh, life is unfair. I'll tell you one thing, but I'm going to close in a moment because I know we're getting to the end of my time. But when I was a programmer, one of the things, I used to go into that like kingdom one with program. There's a kingdom one of programming. The kingdom one of programming is, I know I did my program right. There must be something wrong with the computer. Because surely it's not me. I am a master programmer. I am meticulous with detail. I know I programmed it exactly right. And then the word I would use is weird. I would go, this is weird. Because I know I did everything right. So this is weird. The more I said this is weird, the weirder it got. Right? The further the solution got for me, we used to call that debugging your program, where you're looking at it and trying to figure out where you went wrong. It was called debugging. The more I used the word weird, the further the answer got for me. And I would be like, this is so weird. I did everything right. However, the moment I began to shift that and say, this is not weird. There is an answer here. There is a solution here. There is something that needs to shift in this program, and now I'm going to find it. I would immediately, almost, not immediately, but very quickly, I would find where I went wrong. Oh, darn it. Look where I put that period. Look where I put that comma. Look at that word. I didn't mean to put that word there. I meant to put this other word there. This is life, and this is the lesson I think we're over and over again getting until we don't need to get it anymore. We keep thinking it's out there. We keep wanting to blame something out there. We want to blame a person. We want to blame our family of origin. We want to blame our cousin. We want to blame our boss. We want to blame our partner. We want to blame our friend. One woman told me that she loaned someone $20,000 that never got paid back, and that's why she's broke today. But that was like 20 years ago. I'm like, what have you been doing in the last 20 years? That might explain the next 1 year or something like that, or 2 years, but that was 20 years ago. This is a true story. Her whole life became defined by that one situation where someone didn't pay her back. And then it was like, life is, I don't want to say what the word would be, but her whole life became defined by that one thing. How different would it have been if she would have released that and said, you know what, it happened, not the first day. maybe the first couple weeks, maybe even the first month, you're like, oh, man, I'm so mad. How could this person do that, right? We get our little moment. But then what would it have been like if after a month, she said, I'm going to let that go because this isn't going to serve me. I don't want to spend the rest of my life worrying about that. I got all this opportunity. I want to create my new opportunity. I had $20,000 and I can get $20,000 again. I can get 50 even or 100,000 or more. What would her life have been if she would have made a different choice instead of having that define her and define that the rest of her life is going to be terrible, and instead define it as this is going to be a jumping point. This is going to be a stepping stone to something greater. I'm going to learn from it and I'm going to make something really good at it. So the invitation today, when we say, the topic was God is trustworthy, is because there is a law that is exact and exacting. You can rely on the law. When I put my program in, the computer would do exactly what I told it. All I had to do is get the program right. I could trust the computer just like we can trust God. We can trust that these laws are exact and exacting, and it just becomes a journey for us to keep tweaking our inner world, right? To say, oh, if it's still showing up that way, what more do I have to clean up on the inside here so that I can be a clear vessel for the good that I want to experience in my life? Yes? Thanks so much for listening today. You all are awesome. Thank you. And Ruth Wagner, who is our dedicated, she is our most dedicated volunteer on Wednesdays and Sundays. She is here all the time doing our offering. Thank you, Ruth. You are awesome. And always with a smile, too. So, we're going to do our offering, and there's many different ways to give. You can donate. You can by text 424-379-3733. You can just text the amount, and it'll be handled like that. Or you can go to the QR code up there, or you can go to redondocsl.org/donate, cash and checks. All of you online, thank you so much for being here. We appreciate your gifts as well. If you got something of value today or last week or any time, please do support us in all that we're doing here, because we're just going to keep doing greater and greater things. Thank you so much. And let us do our conscious affirmation together as we hold our gift. Divine love consecrates my gift. It goes forth to heal, to bless, and to prosper all those who give and all those who receive. I rejoice in the sharing of my good, and I release my gift with love, and so it is. Yes.
So grateful, I'm one in the spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful, I trust in God. I'm thankful, so grateful, I'm one in the spirit all around. I'm thankful, so grateful, I trust in God. I'd invite you to sing if you feel so led. And I'm thankful, so grateful, I'm one in the spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful, I trust in God. I'm thankful, so grateful, I'm one in the spirit all around me. I'm thankful, so grateful, I trust in God.
Yes.
Good job, everyone.
Elise Carver. Thank you, Elise. And I know because the law is exacting and exacting that some of you are probably exact and exacting. And so someone's going to say, I thought you said there were 3 quotes, and I only gave 2. So before one of you who is exact and exacting says, where's the 3rd quote? We got gypped. I'm going to share the 3rd quote. Every person must pay the price for that which they receive, and that price is paid in mental and spiritual coin. I actually shared that in a Sunday service recently. So the spiritual and mental coin is our inner world. We pay the price for what we want to receive by cultivating a rich inner world that matches what we want to experience in our outer world. Yes? All right, now is our time for questions, insights and awarenesses that you've had. We have a mic that will go around. So here we go, right here, Beverly. I love it. Beverly's hand was high up in the air.
Well, because I'm going to be exact and exacting.
Okay.
Tomorrow is Thursday the 8th, and that is when you have the ecstatic dance and the Spanish program. Yes. And it was announced it was May 10th. So I wanted to let everybody know that.
Thank you for being exact and exacting.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, and thank you for that. I love it because so many times on my computer, it wants my email address, and it's so long, it's my name and on, and then it won't take it.
Yes.
And it's always me.
Yes.
It's either comma,
Yes.
Gmail, comma, com,
Yes.
or something. So
I'm hoping that AI is gonna save us from all that. I'm hoping AI is gonna be like, I know what you meant, Beverly.
Yes, I know. It reads my mind. But I love that when it's so concrete because it helps me. Because when you share something, I always share it with other people. I just do.
Yes.
And it meant so much to me. Thank you.
Beautiful. Thank you. Who else wants to share something or ask a question? Got a couple people there.
Good morning. Exact and exacting. Going back to
And
that.
tell us your name as you speak as well.
I'm Patricia.
Yeah.
I was logging into my bank account. We do that all the time, right?
Yeah.
You can't get in. And I didn't want to use the eyeball because I know this. I can type. I'm a perfectionist, right? It locked me out. 3 attempts. So I had to go back to the credit union and tell her, I thought I could log in without using the eyeball to check on my entry. She said, I do that
using
all
the
the time.
eyeball?
You could look at when you're entering the password and there's the eyeball to the right.
Yeah.
So it gives you a help.
like to show what you're typing.
Show the password.
Ah,
so
yes,
I thought,
yes.
I didn't need to click on that this time. I'm watching the keystrokes. Well, I got locked out, and so I drove to the credit union because it's the only way. Now I have to go in person, and I have to tell the teller what I did, and she says, I do that too. She
So
does.
the moral of the story is use the eyeball.
Save the gas.
Yes. Thank you, Patricia. Let's come up here.
I hope can explain well why I want to ask. My name is Thelma, and I have a couple weeks assisting in here, and it's very open in my mind, all the words you are explaining in everything I live in here. But my question is, okay, the intention from inside me is give love, but
Yes.
how you concrete or stop the in-out go inside? The things going out go inside, because sometimes, like you say, you come in with good attitude.
Yes.
But what happens when the people are not giving the good attitude and don't accept you be happy?
I used to have a what happens when the people don't cooperate with your plan? That never happens to me. I used to have a phrase that said, let the people be the people. Let everyone be who they are. That's everyone's on their journey, and the thing is don't make their journey your journey. Let your journey be your journey. Well, what I talked about up here is you be love. Everyone else gets to be whatever they want to be. You be love. You're responsible for making sure, and that's your opportunity, right? as the scripture said, you gain nothing by being able to love those that treat you really well and love you. You don't gain anything by that. That's easy. Anyone can do that. What you really gain is when the people don't treat you so well and you still have love. Now you're really practicing love, right? Yeah, thank you for that. That's beautiful. Who else? Question, comment? Sue.
Thank you for that very inspirational speech, sermon. I'm very grateful. So, nature and wildlife and animals in general mean everything to me. And so I try to embody that. I'm a vegan, which is, am I on?
You're good, you're good.
Which is the number one thing we can do for the environment. I try not to use much plastic, et cetera, et cetera. And yet I don't see the reflection yet on the outside.
I do.
I mean, for the environment, and the environment is in big trouble. And
Yeah.
I keep trying to change me, but how is that enough? I mean, I donate to environmental organizations, and I get out on the street and rally, but there's still, how do you really make changes? I want a paradigm shift.
It's like that story of, and I won't get it exactly right, but I'll get the main point of it, where the father's walking with the son, and there's all these starfish on the beach that are stranded and they're dying, and the boy's throwing them back in the water, and the father says, "Why are you doing that? You can't save all these starfish." And the boy still picks up one and throws it out and says, I saved that one, right? So you're doing your part, right? And so I love what Michael Beckwith said at one point, we're not here to save the world. We're here to serve the world. So what we do is we do our part to serve, and then what you also do, what I know about you, what you also do is you go out there and help get other people involved as well, right? So you not only do your part, you actually encourage other people to do their part, right? And maybe as you're encouraging them to do their part, they're encouraging someone else to do their part. And so little by little, we are making a difference. So all that we're here to do is wake up in the morning and say, what is mine to do today? What is the greatest way for me to serve? And go do that with all your heart. The rest is none of your business. They asked Mother Teresa that, because Mother Teresa was doing this great work in India with the poorest of the poor, the leper communities that no one else, the untouchables as they called them, that no one else wanted to go help. But she would go and help those people. And someone asked her at one point, like, how do you deal with all this other stuff in the world, all these things going on in the world? And she said exactly what I'm saying to you. I look at what is mine to do and I go do that, right? And I leave the rest alone, right? This world is way bigger than just any one of us, and there's so much good we can do collectively. So it's like, how can you be an instrument for the collective good and do all that you can do? And then leave it alone and trust, right? Trust. Right? Because there's also me. You're not alone. There's me. And then there's other people. And so there's all these people, right? And we know that today, speaking of veganism, we know that today there is so much more veganism than there ever was when we first considered veganism, right? We know that today I can come down here and I can go to 2 vegan restaurants within 20 feet of each other. That would not have existed even maybe 20 years ago, right? So we know that we are making a difference. It is changing. I know that when I was at my last churches, I never even asked people to make vegan food for me. It's like, I'll make my own vegan food, right? I just told them I'm vegan. But now every Sunday, there were always vegan dishes. And there was a talk of the town. Everyone would be telling everyone, we got this, and then we got all these vegan dishes. So we make a huge difference. And I encourage every one of us to never doubt that you can make a difference. Because every day we're seeing it. We're making a difference. Yeah. And you are making a difference, my friend. This woman is a mover and shaker right here, Sue Crossan. She is a mover and shaker. She's like, we get like 80 people to come out to these vegan potlucks, largely due to her efforts. And she's like, well, I'm sorry we didn't get more people. I'm like, you're getting more people than any other activity we have. Yeah, you're a mover and shaker. You're doing what you're doing. You are making a difference. All right, I'm sure we're getting close.
I have one more.
Yes. Ryan has one. The man with the mic. You can take that mic back for you.
The mic. Oh, there it is. Yeah, I particularly connected with your lecture today. One of it is sensitivity to what others say
Yes.
and what others are communicating about that. Because, you know, if someone walks up and kicks you in the shin once and then they walk away, you can maybe forgive that. But if someone walks up and does that repeatedly every few months or every few weeks just because they feel like doing it because they have a challenge, I haven't always shown the greatest amount of temperance to that repeated action. That repeated action to me is like, well, did you forget I know martial arts? Did you forget my tongue is as sharp as my skills on, on these types of things? Like,
Yeah.
I can respond.
Are you able to remove yourself from that situation?
Yes, kind of. You know, I think there's a sensitivity question inside of there, like being actually sensitive to hearing it or not. Well, I care about this person, and yet, ouch, another shin kick.
Well, for me, we all make our own choices. For me, just so all of you know, if you kick me in the shin even once, I probably won't be hanging out with you anytime soon. We don't have to take abuse, right? There's so many people that will love us. We don't need to set up our life where it's like, oh, I still want to keep you here, because there's plenty of people to love us that will treat us beautifully, right? So we really do, in this world, we have to learn our boundaries, and we have to stop. There was a woman in a practitioner class one time, practitioner training class, and she said, there's this guy in my life, and I feel like I can't trust him. And I said, okay, so what's your question? And she said, well, and she kept going on, and the inference was that she should be able to trust him. No. If you got in the core of your being, in the heart of your being, that you can't trust this person, be thankful that your intuition has guided you, and go the other way. Go the other way. Trust yourself. We don't have to subject ourselves to abuse, and there's no value in doing so. And I'll end by saying my thing you've heard me say before. You can still be in the love. You don't desert the love. Be in the love. Be all up in the love, and you can still say, I love you so much. Here's your restraining order. Set your love, but set your boundaries. Love yourself enough that you're not going to accept abuse. There's no reason to. Look at all these people in this room who will love us and love us and love us. Why would I come out of here with all these people that will love me and say, well, I'm going to hang out with someone that will abuse me? No. Thank you so much. That's a great question, Ryan. And thank you all for being here. Blessings. Yes. Ruth, you had something? Don't forget the labyrinth. We got the labyrinth out there. You can walk the labyrinth. It's a beautiful meditative experience. Thanks for being here today. I'll hang around in case anyone has anything else. Yay.